wmnhradio@gmail.com or through our website at wmnhradio.org. Tablecloth Lady. Check out this madam, will you take a look? She stood up in the crowd and she's such a snook. She gave her finger there to see in him, and she looks real mad, but she's nothing but a tablecloth lady. 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 Tablecloth lady.
You're not a nice person.
Auto sequence starts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah, how about that? Little the tempo is a little slower than usual on the intro music. I'm not even sure what's causing that. What's that?
It's like the Lunch Lady song.
That was Rocky Mountain Mike, my favorite YouTuber, about someone who was on CNN flipping off Jim Acosta. But I'm not sure what something causes. I'm not sure what was causing the music to play slow. I kind of like it though. I might just want to keep it at that speed.
I didn't know that it was in a different speed
Yeah,
to begin with.
Yeah, listen. It's slower than usual. It sounds kind of cool though at that tempo.
Yeah, it does actually. I mean,
but if I don't know what's causing that, I can't replicate it.
well,
I'm trying to figure out what is causing it to play slow like that.
You're going to have to figure it out.
Unless there's nothing about it that's causing it to play slow, and I'm just imagining it. Oh, there it goes.
What did you do?
That's
You
the normal
twisted
speed.
something. Did you do something? You pressed a button or something.
I can do all kinds of. See, I didn't. I've never played with this before. Check it out. There's the normal speed. I can speed it up.
We don't need chipmunks.
Yeah, there's the metal version there. It's dark and heavy.
You're a riot.
It's like tuned down. That's what a lot of bands do, older bands do when they...
You gotta stop that or they're gonna put a little piece of tape on that and say, Matt, you can't touch that one anymore.
That's what older bands do when they're touring, and like Kiss does it. They tune down a little bit. You know, they'll tune down a half step or something so that it makes it easier for the singer to sing because he doesn't have to hit as many high notes. So that's good to know. I can kind of play with that a little bit here at it is Matt
Could
Connarton.
get interesting.
It is Matt Connarton Unleashed in the Afternoon. We are live on WMNH 95.3 FM, emanating from a rainy downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. It is Friday, August 3rd, 2018. And of course, you can stream us at wmnhradio.org. You can find WMNH on the TuneIn app, and of course, you can watch on Channel 97 Comcast if you're in Manchester, and you can watch via Facebook Live on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. And if you haven't given that a like yet, please do. would appreciate it very, very much. And, of course, you can participate in the show via Facebook Live, of course. Hello to Ben Dion, who I do see in the Facebook Live chat, as well as Jenny, who is also here in studio with us. 603-250...
I am?
Yep, you are here. 603-250-6007 is a number to call, although we won't be taking any calls until later in the show, because we're going to play for you, as was promised yesterday, but we had to push it back a day. Last night, I had the honor and privilege of interviewing Mugzy, who is a rising star in Australia. He's a hip-hop artist. And so we recorded this interview. We had to kind of record it after hours because it's super early where he is. You know, musicians aren't
It's not just
typically
super early.
risers.
It's actually like the next day.
Right. That is true.
So you know what my theory on Australia is, right?
What?
Every time somebody comes up with an end of the world theory, I just watch Australia because it's tomorrow.
Oh, right.
And if it's tomorrow in Australia, then I know I'm going to wake up.
Oh, there you go.
See?
Yeah. So
That was some serious thunder going on there.
Yes. So I'm going to play this for you. Now, we didn't just talk about music, though, during the discussion. You know, we talked about culture and we got into some political things. So it was a very interesting conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with you. Actually, first we're going to open with a track, one of his tracks. It's called Understand Me.
My favorite, my personal favorite, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. And then that'll go right into the interview, and you'll be able to hear it.
Really listen to the lyrics of this guy. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's very positive stuff. Didn't have to do any,
I love that.
Didn't have to do any editing to play it on the radio, which is always nice.
This is going to be cool to hear.
Yep. So here it is. This is Understand Me by Mugzy, followed by my exclusive interview with him. I think you'll enjoy it.
Started from nothing, trying to make something. People push us down and we keep on running. Walk through the storm, walk through the wall. Bust through, say we're taking it all. We're going for our dream, can't stop this team. Rushing in and we changing this scene. You think you can stop our movement glory, but we're standing tall in the story. I'm sick of these people being disrespectful. Can't see we're working hard, it's a mental. All around the clock, it's never endful. You can't do the same, so don't step two. Us in a crew, step one, step two. We wanted this from the start, so we're coming through. In your street, bringing that hardcore beat. Making that movement from under your feet. From always something new. Haters, what you gonna do? You're gonna look stupid on what you tried to prove. Because we're pumped dead on your block. Sending out, hear my message when we're ready to drop. Yeah.
You can't stop us, nah, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
It's our mission and we're ready to rock. Yeah.
You can't stop us, nah, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
Forward momentum and we ain't gonna stop.
Cause I find me an addict, cause that forward momentum, I gotta have it, have at it. Not half as good as the next man, 10 times bro, gotta grab it. By the scruff of the neck, ring it out. End up as a wreck, work it out. Gotta keep it in check, sing it out. That's the name of the game, that's what life's about. To reflect with the best of them, that's what you like to call life's tests, I guess. When you cry, when you're pressed, I said, that's what I like to call life's test, you mesh. Ah, what a sesh. But if you still see rain, then you need to digest what I put in your brains like a pill, it'll make you insane unless you kill what puts you here. Who you think you are? You're the highest man here? Well, that's a start. Look around, take it in, we take it all. Now sit back, watch begin. You can't stop us, nah, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
It's our mission and we're ready to rock. Yeah.
You can't stop us, nah, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
Forward momentum and we ain't gonna stop. Run this town like Jay-Z and Kanye, me and Pablo, doing it the Aussie way. The temptation with fire in our eyes, getting closer to that one true prize. From the honesty of a hip-hop prodigy, I keep telling myself, Nothing's gonna stop me for that dream to make it come true. That's why we speak the truth in the booth.
Yeah, we spit truth, call us the criers. We sing loudly, so call us the choir. Me and Mugzy, born in the fire. No pad and pen, yeah, that's all we require. In the booth, to spit truth. And the crowd to rock, raise your hands to the roof. You can't stop us now, so turn up the track, let's hear it loud. Yeah, you can't stop us, no, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
It's our mission and we're ready to rock, yeah.
You can't stop us, no, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, bro, we're unstoppable. You can't stop us, we're unstoppable.
Forward momentum and we ain't gonna stop.
All right, Matt Connarton here on Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we have with us actually via the Facebook calling. We had to kind of figure out a way to do this, but now that I know how to do it this way, it's actually pretty easy. We have joining us all the way from Australia, which is why we had to figure out a way to do this. The first, my first intercontinental guest on the program. We have hip hop artist Mugzy joining us. How are you, sir?
Hey, what's good, man? How you doing? Or should I stereotype myself and say good day, mate? Yeah, man, I'm good. It's 11 o'clock in the morning right now, so we're, I think, 14 or maybe 17 hours in the future, so I can't give you those lottery tickets just of yet, man.
In the future, yes. You're, yeah, that's kind of, oh, what is that dinging? Oh, well. Well, we might have to live with it. There's other things going on that computer, I guess, but that's okay. Yeah. So this is cool to talk to you. Yeah. So it is. Of course, it's already tomorrow there, today here. But you you are not only are you our first intercontinental guest, but it's interesting to talk to a musician from another continent, because obviously I want to ask you about your career and your background and all that, but I'm also really curious about how the music scene, how the music industry might be different there than it is here, or if it is. I don't know, because we're in this world now where and I don't know how old you are, but I'm old enough to remember when it was pre-internet, which is probably pretty mind-blowing to some people, some of our younger listeners who can't even remember a time pre-internet. But it used to be like now you can put music out there from anywhere in the world, and you can build an audience anywhere in the world. And this is an example of course, you're in Australia, but you're able to connect with radio stations and media here in the United States. And like I said, there was a time when it wasn't so simple. But what's it like for you in Australia as an artist? Is it just a matter of, at this point, kind of putting your music out there online and seeing what happens, or what's been your approach to promoting your music?
Yeah, man. I'm 27, so I guess I was born in '91. So what was the internet? Like late '90s, maybe. Yeah. So I went through the whole era, man, of unplugging the phone, and then to use the internet, and then to use the internet, you gotta unplug the internet and all that sort of stuff. So I went through that drama. We're promoting my music, man. Yeah, the Australia is huge and iconic for like on the rock scene. We've had great acts come out like AC/DC, In Excess, Men at Work, or that sort of stuff. But when it comes to the hip hop kind of game, it's kind of a lot of I think because we've been such a stereotype of a country from like Crocodile Dundee and all that sort of stuff, that when it comes to hip hop, because it's such an Americanized, genre, a lot of people instantly assume it's like, oh wait, are they rapping about, wrestling crocodiles and all that sort of stuff, and fighting insects. So it's kind of, in a sense, it's good that Paul Hogan's, I guess, put his name on the map for Australia, but in a sense, for the hip hop world over here, it's kind of a bit of a downfall because it's like, nah, like we really love this culture and stuff, and we're not, rapping about that. But in saying that also, man, I know a lot of guys that love hip hop and love rap music, but majority I love to do it more as a hobby than actually take it more seriously, like and take that leap of faith to try and push it all they can. So it does become difficult for people in my position, man, when you know you have this dream and this goal to push forward with it, but when everyone around you is like, we're not really funding our money in it, or we're not really pushing for opportunities, it's hard for people like me to get. You can't do it with one person, man. You have to get multiple people on board to make these big things happen.
Hmm.
So that's why I get so many interviews, radio play, the list goes on with you know people in the states, man, because I'm always constantly getting messages saying, hey Mugzy, jump on this mixtape, or jump on this radio station, or whoop de woo, like that. And I'm just like, it's just, I think because there's more of a obviously a market, and that's what I was explaining with the whole hip hop's always going to be an Americanized market. But how I promote myself, man, I don't need no fancy big entourage behind me, man. I just literally have a laptop, a bunch of coffee, a time and a date, and yeah, and I just start promoting, man, and just money behind me, funding it from like obviously my job and stuff like that, but just a passion and a goal. Yeah, I go down to these gigs sometimes, and a lot of people say, oh, how far do you travel to get down here? I'm like, oh, 2-3 hours, or sometimes sleep on train station benches just to make the next interview at this label the next day. I've done the grind, like the long hard years, man. So yeah, I'm rambling on a bit, but yeah, the journey just doesn't stop for me, man.
Sure, sure. When you started, I mean, I think I read online you were very influenced by Eminem in the beginning, who's obviously, an American hip hop artist. But yeah, tell us about your beginnings and who and what had inspired you when you were starting out.
Yeah, for sure, man. So when I started getting into the culture of hip hop when I was late 14, early 15, so roughly 2005, I think it was, early thousands, and I was in high school, and you know, I was kind of like I guess you can call the loner sort of kid. I didn't really have an identity in that, and I didn't know who I was. I didn't know if I wanted to like associate myself with the sporty kids, or the nerdy kids, or whatever the case may be. And I think that kind of gave me a target of like being bullied a lot, and all that. And
Hmm.
that's why I can relate to the teenagers now, man. Like when I see that kid that's down, because I went through that. And it wasn't just a phase of, oh, I'm angry. It was like a phase of just like, I felt that everyone just hated me and stuff if I was getting bullied and that. And I just thought, if the world hates me now, why not just end it, which was
Mm.
pretty heavy on my family.
Oh wow,
And
yeah.
yeah, and around that time, MTV, BET, VH1, like I reckon, I always say to this day, the early thousands for me personally was just the pinnacle of hip hop marketing, like pushing it out there as much as they could. Like we had the '90s, of course, but I still reckon the early thousands were just great. And yeah, I was just obviously seeing Eminem on the big screen, which were with his songs like "The Way I Am," "Cleaning
Hmm.
Out My Closet," "Lose Yourself," all that sort of stuff. I just looked at these guys, and they had this sort of godlike mentality of they'd walk into like any situation, or any room, neighborhood, place, whatever the case may be, and no one would bring them down. Like they could just like, they just had this real cool, slick sort of tough guy attitude that I was
Yeah,
physically attracted to.
that
And
confidence and swagger and all that. Yeah.
yeah, and I was just like, I didn't want to be the shark anymore. Why not try that? And so I think 8 Mile came out at the time, and I was just like, why not try, drop my damn rhymes and stuff. So I did, but then I knew if I want to progress as an artist, I would have to write full songs, and because no one wants to listen to a rapper that's just got rhymes in a workbook, it doesn't go very far. So like at that stage, it was quite impressive that at that stage of 14 that I knew the steps to take to progress, it to be taken seriously as an artist. And I did like a rough little demo, which was I think 2 or 3 tracks, and just started trying to promote it as much as I could, trying to get with local hip hop groups and stuff. And the rest is history, man. Now I'm here where I am now, man, and a lot of people know me for my music, and pretty much know me as like the encyclopedia of hip hop. Where
Yeah,
we're around
yeah.
my neighbor. Yeah. So that's kind of like the little origin story, man. Yeah.
It's actually fascinating to me to hear you talk about Eminem being like the first person to really kind of get your attention and influence you in that way, because for my generation, I'm in my 40s, and here in the United States, it's like a guy like Eminem will always talk about how he was influenced by I don't know, Run DMC and some of the really early hip hop artists that came out of New York City, which is you're talking late 70s, early 80s, where hip hop really developed initially. So it's just interesting to hear someone from a younger generation kind of use Eminem as the starting point. It's interesting for a couple of reasons. Number one, just as someone who's older, it's just kind of the generational thing is kind of interesting, but also too. Eminem was the first, and I don't know if anyone in Australia thinks of it this way, but in the United States, there's often, sometimes contentious discussions about this. The first really big white rapper to have a sustained career, and in the United States, sometimes at times there has been some resentment among some people toward white artists historically in other genres of music, for kind of picking up what some might consider black music, like Elvis Presley. There are those who actually resent Elvis Presley for doing music that was some of those songs that were originally done by black blues artists, and then he took them and recorded his own versions of them and had big hits with them and made lots of money and whatnot. And that cycle has continued, and it continued with hip hop, where when Eminem first got big in the United States, there are some who were resentful of him for that same reason. Oh, here's a white guy doing what some felt was black music. But now here we are at this point where I think most of that's I think for the most part, people have kind of just stopped worrying about that. And it's not a racial thing anymore. And Eminem is generally considered a genius, and so are all these black hip hop artists who respect him and everything. What is the dynamic like with that in Australia, or is it just kind of like it is here now at that point where nobody's really worried about the racial aspect? It's just music is music.
Man, yeah, like that was kind of like it was funny. It's like you were reading a history lesson that I kind of already knew. Yeah, I know what you mean about to start the my answer off, man. I know what you mean about the white ass part of obviously we had him before Eminem, like third base from third base Everlast, even the likes of Vanilla Ice and stuff, but they didn't have a substantial impact on the scene like M did.
Right.
Yeah, I feel that when I started getting into the music, obviously I had my influences like Eminem, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, but I would watch these documentaries or read these books about the culture, and I'd see these like pictures like of people, artists and that from not from my era, like Run DMC in the 80s, Grandmaster Caz and Grandmaster Flash from the 70s, and these black and white pictures and stuff, and they would have different styles and different clothes, and I'd be like, wait, I've never seen this guy before, who's this? And I'd realize there was a culture way before my time. And then that's when I'd watch these documentaries and realize that people like KRS-One and stuff would say, like, when you get in this culture, you have to literally know where it came from and respect it. It's not a phase. It's not just to be cool. It's like a real big movement sort of thing.
Right.
And I just attached myself to that, man. And I was doing my homework, just research, and just daily, and just wanting to fuel as much energy and stuff as it as possible. And yeah, like I just feel that the culture respects you more if you knew where it came from, more than if it's just something to do because it's cool, sort of, sort of
Right.
thing. And with the in saying that, with the white part, man, well, I still personally reckon, as a hip hop artist myself, we still get um the it's a two-sided coin, man, because it's like you got the celebrity ones, which everyone, goes to their festivals, goes to their concerts. Meanwhile, meanwhile, you got like an underground artist like myself that's like, you know, struggling so much, like, well, not struggling, but like, I mean, just like pushing daily to make it. And it's like, you still get the whole stereotype or the ridicule thing. Like, it's like, oh, he's trying to do the whole Eminem thing, it's just like, damn. Like, I still get it today. Like, some people are cool with it, some people are like still, put you in that bubble sort of thing. So yeah, it still hasn't really gone away, even though people assume that it kind of has. Like, man, I've been to so many areas where, or like so many places where you still get that majority of the crowd stereotyping you. And yeah, it's kind of like, damn, like, I'm not a person that's gone through a phase where it's just like, oh, I want to be, a rapper sort of thing. Just because like your friends doing it as a hobby doesn't mean, like, look what I've done, like, look what I've like done for the community and stuff like that. So yeah, it's to answer your question, man, personally over here it really hasn't gone away as much. Maybe in the States, I don't know. I might just have to fly over there and live over there for a bit, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, over here, no, not even close, man.
Yeah.
Which is,
Interesting.
hmm.
Part of my perception, by the way, of that might be being here in New Hampshire, because I don't know if it's like this in the other 49 states, but here in New Hampshire, and I make no judgment about it because I'm friends with a lot of these people, but there are a lot of white kids doing hip hop here. But then again, I'm in a state where I think it's 94% white. So, so there is no one else here to do hip hop. No, there's some black hip hop artists here too who are outstanding, but there's a lot of white kids here who do hip hop. In fact, there's a show now. I don't know if you get this in Australia. There's a show called The Four, and
Nah.
yeah, it's one of those kind of one of those American Idol type shows, but it's got a little bit of a different spin on it. But without getting into details about the show itself, there's a shout out to AJ Reynolds, who may be listening. He's a white hip hop artist from here in New Hampshire, and he's got a song called Cheeks, which is getting pretty popular here in the States, and he performed it on this show, The Four, in front of Diddy, or P Diddy, or whatever his name is now, and Megan Trainor, and DJ Khaled, and somebody else. I forget who else is on the panel. But do you have any of those shows in Australia? Like, I mean, I assume you get American Idol there, right?
Yeah, we actually talent shows. Nah, no, we had this one called the what was it? The Voice.
Oh,
It was
yes.
kind of like a, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so you guys get it as well? Yeah,
We have that.
over. They brought over who were the international guests? It was Kelly Rowland, Boy George from
Oh, Culture Club. Yeah.
yeah, and there was another one. What's his Sam Jonah or what? I don't know, like one of the Jonas brothers or something.
Okay.
But yeah, like it was more. It wasn't your own material. It was more like you gotta do a cover of like someone else's kind of
Yeah.
song, like grab a Beyonce song and sing to that. So a lot of people would tell me to do it, like, Mugzy, get up on The Voice and stuff. I said, no, that doesn't fly in hip hop, man. You can't. I can't just get up there and start rapping Eminem song. It's like that's frowned upon in the hip hop culture. And some rappers did it, man. Like it was funny because my dad would call me and he'd be like, yeah, so there's this rapper guy on The Voice. I listen to him and he's doing some song over some artist. I'm like, yeah, that guy's not going to go far, and he hey, didn't even go far, man, because it's so frowned upon that it's like, it's all it's just, it's a culture where it's about authenticity and having your own craft, man. It's like you're
Yeah.
biting someone else's, material. It's like, what are you even doing here to begin with, man? So
Right.
yeah, like we get the shows, but the recent one that we watched was that Ninja Warrior. That was, I don't know if you guys have that over there in the States. Ninja Warrior, where they do those obstacle kind of
Oh,
gladiator courses,
I think
and
I think we do.
yeah, where it's like they got to go through a certain time limit and do these obstacles sort of things where they're jumping on ropes and spider walls and all this kind of stuff, and they got to get to the buzzer in the time limit before they get out. And
Yeah.
yeah, I watched it like religiously, man, and it's just it gets addictive. Sometimes you get on those shows where it's like each week when it's on, you just have to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we don't have that exact show, we definitely have shows like it. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, but the form, man, I might have to, go on YouTube or some to check that out because,
Yeah.
yeah, I love P Diddy. DJ Khaled, I'm not really feeling that much, but P Diddy, obviously, I love to death because, he had like the whole Bad Boy era and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a guy who's been very influential in hip hop.
Mm.
Can you talk to me about production a little bit? Do you make your own beats? Do you produce your own music? It's very, because it's all very professional sounding, and I say that because sometimes I'll have people send me music that it doesn't always sound. It doesn't always sound quite ready for for the radio. Let's put it that way. But your stuff certainly is, absolutely. Talk to me about production.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Yeah, and it is hard for an artist, man, because these studios nowadays, man, are just costing an arm and a leg just to record for like 3 hours or something, man. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So, finding a good studio or even a good, producer engineer is very hard to come by. But my producer Pablo, who did the album Understand Me, I was performing at like a youth center gig, and this was MySpace days. Remember MySpace, man? Before Facebook?
I
Yeah.
do, yes,
Yeah,
vividly.
and yeah, sometimes I miss it, man. And like that was the jam. I remember I had like a little band profile, and I think he came across it through a different rapper guy that I know. And he found me at a youth center gig. He's like, I've got a studio and stuff. Do you want to record like some real better material than what your demo is, sort of thing, like
Mhm.
sit down and take time to, structure this up. And at first I was sort of iffy because I would look at these guys on my inspiration and be like, hey, they perform, they produce their stuff in big recording studios. Like
Mhm.
they don't perform in garage studios and stuff. So I was very naive about that, man.
Yeah.
But then I didn't realize the fact that they probably record for months on end compared to like just 2 weeks or something in a studio.
Sure.
Yeah. So I remember I was walking to work, and my phone just randomly buzzes, and it was from an unknown caller, and I picked up as Pablo, and I totally forgot I gave him my number, and he said, "Hey, I got some free time this week. You want to jump in the studio and stuff?" So, I took his offer, man, and he said, "Drop down some lyrics and that, and I'll try and whip up some beats, and we'll see where we go from there." So I wrote, I think. The 3 tracks I wrote for Understand Me, it's a 20 album track, but I think it was Understand Me, My Journey, and Don't Cry. I think it was the 3 tracks I wrote first off, and gave it to him. And I tip my hat off to producers, man, because it's a whole different ball game of just you know concepting a beat from scratch, man.
Mhm.
Because like I've tried it, and I don't have the patience with it, man. Um, and he would look at the lyrics, and he knew straight away. Like it'd be like, understand me. He'd be like, oh, I'm guessing you want to lose yourself vibe, or my journey. Oh, you want this sort of vibe, and this, and he would puzzle the words into the concept of the beat. And when he would play the beat back to me after like a few hours or something like that, I would listen, and if this verse didn't work, I'd scribble it out, or if this needed to be rapped a bit faster or a bit slower and stuff, I'd do it. And it was just puzzling the words and the concept together through the beat tone. It was just mix and matching and puzzling, man. So that's how we did it, man. Like in concept and understand me, and
Yeah.
like so. Hopefully, he can jump on the the third album, if with me. But he's got into real estate now, man. So I'm not sure if he's closed up the studio, man, because he's getting
Oh,
a big chunk of money, man, doing that real estate stuff, man.
wow. Oh, good for him. Is
Yeah.
so I'm curious if it's like it is here or there as far as studios. Like here, it's interesting because there's a million recording studios around here. Like you can you can in any city, it's like you can find multiple recording studios, and of course everyone's recording at home too, because you can do that too, and the technology is advanced so much that really anyone can record at home. I mean, is it like that there where you have? I mean, obviously it's a bummer if you can't work with him anymore, but do you have like a million other options to potentially choose from as far as recording?
Oh, 100%, man. But the only factor that a lot of us, including myself, go through is there's like thousands of studios.
Hmm.
But majority of them, you look at their prices and it's like 3 hours, and you got to pay like in that 3 hours, it's like $800 to $900, and it's like who has that time like that money,
Right.
and or it's just like it's very hard to find. It all comes under money, man. So it's like because a lot of underground artists, they're either doing the 9 to 5, or like they're struggling to get funds to try and fund their career or their music. So who has the time to like pay $800 up front for 3 hours? And this is where I kind of get annoyed with, because I've been with manager meetings and this to push my career further, and they always say you got to get in those high depth studios and stuff, like you never know. And I'm just like what sort of underground artist has the money to work in a studio that, I don't know, ACDC worked at? We don't, because
Right.
it's like we don't, it's just a ridiculous logic. And they're just like, oh, you gotta work to get that money and then do it. It's like, well, I'd be busting my ass, you know, just like non-stop, just to get that 1 hour of recording time. Meanwhile, I can just hit up Pablo and have a whole month of session of making the same material I'll be making.
Right.
So it's,
Right.
yeah, it's a ridiculous logic, man. But I feel that a lot of studios maybe are going out of business, man, because their prices are too high. Like if they had lower prices for the engineering time, maybe they're building more thing. And that's maybe why people are getting their own home studios, man, because they know the technology is good, but they just don't want to pay that huge amount of money up front.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Absolutely. And what about, I mean, as far as touring, do you have a lot of options? Actually, well, let me ask you this first. Where in Australia
Sure.
are you exactly?
In a place called the Central Coast, man. So it's about 2 hours north by train from Sydney CBD in New South Wales. So
Okay.
your Harbour Bridge, your Opera House. I'm about 2 hours away from there, man. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So where you are, I mean, do you have options as far as going out and performing on a consistent basis, or do you go out on tour, or how does that work?
Not at all, man. It's
Oh,
literally like the sticks here.
yeah, yeah.
So it's sort of like if a gig comes up, or I'm meeting with this person, I always got to take the train down, and it's roughly maybe 2 or 3 hours, because trains where I come from come like each. It's not even every 10 minutes. It's like every hour. So I got to plan it out properly, and
Hmm.
it's hard. It's horrible sometimes, but at least I get the benefit of when people see me, they're like, "You're dedicated," and I'm like, "Oh, well, that's nice. I've just got my iPod and my backpack, and
Right,
it just and a park bench as well, man." So
right.
yeah, that's
So,
yeah.
so when you perform, like you don't have a live DJ or anything like that. You've just got everything on your iPod and you plug it in, or
Oh,
what, or how does that work?
I've been very lucky, man, for performing well. I don't have a DJ, man, but I've been very lucky with each performance I've done, that there's been a DJ there, and they're just like, "Oh, give me a disc, or give me your iPod," and
Cool. Yeah.
I'll scratch it in. So I've been incredibly lucky, because there's a lot of guys that sadly they don't have that, and then they get up on stage and just stand there like a deer in the headlights, man, thinking, crap, when's my beat gonna come on?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And do you are you able to, where you are, network with other hip hop artists and kind of when you do go and play, or do you have other artists that you work with consistently that you do shows with together, or?
There's a lot of mini open mics and stuff like that, but with other artists, whatever the case may be, or connecting. Uh, it's not just in Australia, man. It's worldwide. Like I get hit up constantly in my inbox of artists or whatever the case may be in Australia and outside of Australia, saying, "Hey, check out my music," or you want to jump on this gig or whatever the case. And I always take the time to really help them out, or if their production isn't up to date, or they don't have the much fan base, I still take the time. I don't have that ego about me
Mm-hmm.
to say, oh, you got to work on this, or because a lot do get intimidated. They jump on my page and they see the fan base, or they
Mm-hmm.
see how much stuff I've done in my, if you see on the status updates, and they get a bit intimidated by that, because they're like, damn, he's done so much that it's like I haven't even done anything with my career, really even take the time. And it's like, I'm just an average guy, man. Just send me your link and I'll check it out, and I'll share it if you need that share. So yeah, it's just go day by day, no biggie behind it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and that's just how I look at things, man. Mm.
And your music is very positive, and I notice that. I mean, do you use any from the stuff I've heard? I don't think I've heard any. Do you use any profanity in your lyrics?
Yeah, like some songs, man. Like I think the only party track that I did was really that song "Grubbing Out,"
Yeah,
which was about drinking and like having a good time with like your boys and stuff like that. But
yeah.
other than that, no, I don't think I do. But with having a message and a positive vibe, man, that was just the era that I really came from.
Hmm.
The '90s and the early thousands, where it was like have a dope beat, have a dope message, and you know, like and substance was everything
Mm-hmm.
in your music. And I feel like we've kind of lost that now in today's hip hop culture. Which is sad in a way, man, because um, I don't know. I feel like I'm the even though I'm 27, I feel like the old cat which is standing on the soapbox like, we need it back where the way it was, and the old the the like, yeah, show your old ass up, and it's sort of just like, I don't argue with him, man, but because like they know me for having a hip hop style, so they're like, yeah, Mugzy, have you checked out Lil Yachi's new album? And I'm like, nah, go to the local CD shop and purchase a Rakim album or something like that. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so it's just like we always have that different generation thing. But
yeah.
um saying that, man, it's just, yeah, it's I don't know, it's a shame of what's going on with the whole mainstream vibe of it now. It's not what it was, personally. Yeah.
What is and what is radio like in Australia? I mean, do you have? I assume it's like it is here, where you have stations with different formats, like you have, or here it's they call it urban, which obviously encompasses hip hop, and you have urban stations, you have rock stations, you have country stations, etc. I mean, is hip hop well represented on terrestrial radio in Australia?
Man, that's a hard question. Yeah. Uh, um, if you're talking about mainstream like hip hop now, yeah, like our pop stations do play it, but it like having those stations like the Breakfast Club or Sway in the Morning, or Ebro or on Hot 97 and stuff. We don't have stations like that, man, where it's like that one specific subgenre for
Oh.
for that. It'd be more like we've got the one that comes to mind really at the top of the head is a show called Kyle and Jackie O, and they're kind of like a little how could I kind of like a Howard Stern sort of vibe.
Hmm.
Um, and you know they play like a lot of everything, but that's our big mainstream station over here. And you know my mom always puts it on before. You know, she always tells me she always loves Carl, and I've listened to a couple of his stuff before, man. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna hate on him for a bit, but he's just a wannabe Howard Stern, man. Personally, I can't buy into it. He'll be saying something like, "Oh, you know, I caught my girlfriend in the shower or something today," and like the crowd's laughing and stuff. I'm like, man, Howard could do this so much better. You know, it's just like, you know, it's just
Yeah.
yeah. So we don't have those massive ones. So like my brother, who's 2 years younger than me, man, we're always like, you know, flicking on YouTube or something to try and find the next topic that Sway in the morning or something like someone's talking to, because he's a huge hip hop head as well, wearing the Wu-Tang and everything, man. Yeah.
So is that how you? Because obviously, so you know, you're paying attention to guys like Sway and Ebro. I mean, is that how you get access to that? Is through YouTube?
Yeah, basically, man, YouTube, you know, things that pop up on my newsfeed, just yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like Vlad TV. I watch like I've even got, you know, a pop up of Vlad TV right now. Like that's just, you know, so DJ Vlad, Sway in the morning, yeah, everything, man. But it's only of artists that like I really, you know, like and stuff. It's not like I'm gonna pop on a you know, a Cardi B interview if I know it's gonna get me if I know it's gonna get me annoyed, you know. So
Right.
yeah, yeah. That's basically my thing, man. It's just YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a and you know we've kept you a long time, Mugzy, and we'll let you go in a couple minutes. But I have a non music related question, and if you don't want to answer this, I completely understand. Kind of putting you on the spot, but I'm going to ask you. I'm hoping you'll want to answer it because I'm just curious. Because you're the only Australian I've talked to, and maybe I can't say ever, but in a long time. What do Australians think of President Donald Trump?
Oh, that's such a hard question, man. Because you know, I don't even follow politics, so even though it's like a daily thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the whole political, whatever his campaigns are, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
But all I can say, like, I don't know what he's doing, but all I can say is if you mention his name over here, it's just ridicule, man. A lot of people hate him, man.
Yeah.
And I don't want to test that water off to know why, because I don't really watch the news or much. I probably have seen what he's done, but it's such a touchy subject that it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm a Trump supporter. It's like, what? Like that? It's like, did I say the wrong thing? Like,
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm probably sleeping under a rock, but it's sort of just like, yeah, it's the majority of what I've heard. Yeah, a lot of people hate him, and
Yeah.
I guess I gotta hate him too. I don't know. I might have to look further into it, man.
He has a way. Well, you know, Australia has always been one of our most reliable allies here in the United States, and Trump has a way of just alienating the hell out of all of our allies. So it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, well, that's the only, because me and my friends like ripped on it. That was the only thing I do remember is we don't have a president. We've got a prime minister here, called Malcolm Turnbull.
Yes.
And I can't remember what Trump was doing. See, another Trump thing I didn't know. And I think they were doing like a you know, where they meet each other for the first time and shake his hand. And I looked at, you know, it would come on the news. It was like, oh, Trump's doing this big thing to piss off someone, or Trump's doing this, and then it would say Malcolm Turnbull wants to voice his opinion. I just looked at my friends. I was thinking Malcolm Turnbull is like that friend request on Facebook that you just keep declining all the time to you know, to Trump. Trump doesn't care about him. Like,
Right. Yeah, well, that's
Yes.
true. Yeah, there was that weird thing very early in Trump's presidency where I guess he got into an argument on the phone with Turnbull, something about some refugees that Australia wasn't going to take that were going to come to the United States instead, and I guess Trump yelled at him or something on the phone, some weird thing. But yeah, so I was just curious what the perception there was.
Yeah, no, that's the only thing that I really that was a what was it, a year ago now or something, man, that happened.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's you know, like immigration is really becoming a big problem here because we're I don't know how big our country is, man. It's big, maybe small, who knows? But yeah, it's really becoming a high demand problem over here. So I don't know
Hmm.
what he was about. If you want to push him over there or keep him here, but it's for a lot of Australian families, it's becoming very rough because they don't. I don't want to put a downer on the convo, but they've been getting bought out of their businesses and their homes and stuff, and been ending up on. You guys call it welfare over there, but we call it Centrelink here, and
Okay.
yeah, yeah, like being pushed down the streets and stuff, man, which is sad, but it's yeah, money's a terrible thing, man, sometimes, and it could be a good thing, but a terrible thing sometimes.
How is the just curious too? How is the economy there? Is the economy pretty good?
Um, Man, that's a hard question. I don't,
Yeah.
um,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
if it was bad, you'd know it. You know what I mean? So it's probably not too bad.
yeah, like it's it's weird, man. You know, I always get on these social justice warriors where it's like, oh, he's doing this and he's doing that. I was like, man, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and do the same thing. And 20 years later, I'm gonna do the same thing, and it's just like there's no change.
Right.
Get off your soapbox.
Right.
Yeah, more than yeah, my friend was scaring me with that the other day, man. He said, hey, like if Trump and what was it, Kim Jong Un or whatever go to war, we gotta do the whole war thing. I said, what are you talking about? And he said, what was it, when World War One or two they did that lottery thing where it's like they call out your last name and your date
Yeah.
of birth,
Yeah.
and I was just like, damn, man, if they call out Brady and my first name, I ain't going. No, because I
Yeah.
know for a fact, no, my karma, I'd get a bullet in the back of the head easily. So, I saw Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
if it makes it feel any better, I don't think that any of that's likely to happen. So.
No, no, not at all, man. Yeah.
All right. Well, Muggsy, we've kept you for quite some time, but I do want to before we let you go, I want to make sure that people know where to go online. And we should tell people too. Muggsy is spelled Mugzy, so people can find you. But what do you want people to know about where to go online to find out more about you, your music, website, social media, etc. Just anything you want people to know.
Yeah, basically you said it for me, man. My number one platform that I use is on Facebook, which has my YouTube, Twitter, band profile, updates like this, everything on there at Mugzy, Mugzy, to UK and Australia, that is Mugzy, and just hit me up with, the thumbs up if you're an artist or whatever the case may be. Send me an inbox, and yeah, that's my number one platform to see everything that I've been doing and what I'm doing now. So check out Mugzy on Facebook.
All right. Very good, Muggsy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Yeah, definitely keep in touch. And you have another fan here in Australia, man. So take it easy.
Growing up on the hip hop music, just breathing that air for something to use it. It's amazing how these people look at you different because you're not the same, man. It's just so infant. What do you want me to be just like you? Nah. Well, plus one for me doesn't equal two. Equal two. How is it when this world works? But these people don't pull you in, so all it does is hurt. No respect and no love. There will never be a change when these people will all rise above. It's a democracy, so approximately my rage will burst out, and all you have to do is just stop with me. Increase the peace at least for once, so we can breathe without all. Yeah, getting teased, cause right now we are all crying in the rain, ripping our hair out, going insane, yeah. You
I'm gonna be talking about myself, a lonely wolf, and you're all the wealth. Pointing the finger is like pulling a trigger, blow my brains out. When you call me wigger, you go figure. F you to the pussy, see the baggy jeans and chains that label me like I'm some kind of funny. See, why? Because my skin is white and not black. It's the love of hip-hop, not to be labeled as that. It's a disappointment for your enjoyment as a joke. I feel like grabbing my hands around your throat to choke. I know it's scary, but that's the very thing I'm intent to do. If it comes to that, man, there's no stopping me to you. We all go a little mad sometimes. Maybe because all the haters know how to push all the bad lines. Why? Because they just don't like who we are. So what? We are fine to become an inner star. Inner star, yeah. You don't understand me. Comprehend me, yeah, come on. You don't understand me. Why is it when these people say respect all, but they turn into two faces walking down the dark hall? It's because they don't have a change of heart. All they love to do is rip people apart. Dissing is the mission, giving their suicidal ignition a thumbs up for the people to be witnessing. Trust me, I know, I've been through that horror show. Saw the light and thought it was a no-go. But to top it all up, just be yourself underneath. Just look up to the skies and think about the peace. At least because we are that beautiful person. Just to be earning what we are deserving. A little respect, is that too much for the sake of it? And to be awakening from it? No, because we've got something to prove. Coming together as a culture with nothing to lose, yeah. You don't understand me. Comprehend me, yeah, come on. You don't understand me. Comprehend me, yeah, come on.
You're tough, you're smart, you're probably brilliant.
Hello, everybody. It's hour number 2. Matt Connarton Unleashed in the afternoon. We are live from WMNH 95.3 FM, emanating from a very wet downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Yes, it was pouring torrentially
there
for a while.
Yeah, it was going sideways, actually.
Yes, it was. It is, of course,
I love that song.
Friday, August 3rd, 2018, and we're live here. 603-250-6007 is the number to call. I know Dr. Jeff Cassell was thinking about giving us a buzz in the Facebook live chat, 603-250-6007. You just heard my interview from last night with Mugzy. We had to pre-record that because it's very, very early and technically the next day when we're on live in Australia, which Dr. Jeff Cassell referred to in the Facebook live chat as a fake country. I don't know if...
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if maybe that's because it's...
Is that fake news?
It's also a continent, and maybe in his mind it can't be both a country and a continent, so he feels that it's fake. I don't know. But remember when Sarah
then
Palin...
how do you explain Ireland?
What do you mean?
Or like, wait a minute. No, no, that doesn't work. Why can't you be a country if you're an island?
I don't know. Well, it's a continent, but we have a call, and this may be Dr. Cassell. Is this Dr. Cassell?
Yes, it is.
Dr. Jeff Cassell joins us via phone. How are you, sir? It's been a long time.
Yeah, I was listening to that. That was an Australian guy?
He was Australian, yes.
Yeah, I can't tell the difference between an Australian accent and a British accent. They sound
really?
so similar.
Nuh-uh.
Well, I think they do sound somewhat similar. I know that if I try to do an accent, and I'm terrible at accents and impressions and all of that, but if I try to
Well,
do...
no, I've heard some of your accents, Matt.
Yes.
When you were doing an impression of our Attorney General, for example.
Jefferson Beauregard Sessions
You had to get him
III.
started,
Absolutely.
didn't you?
Your Attorney General of these United States,
Do you
I do
see what you
declare.
started? This is your fault.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, President Trump has given him some instructions, and he might be right about that. I watched the rally yesterday. Did you see it?
No.
I didn't see yesterday's
Did
rally.
you see the
No.
rally? Did you
No.
hear the rally on TV, Matt?
No, sorry, I was
We
distracted.
don't do TV, actually.
I was distracted by that incredible thunderclap I just heard outside. At least I hope that's what that was. Oh my God!
But we honestly and truly, we don't have cable.
I did see a clip from the rally from the day before when he was talking about how in the United States you need an ID to buy groceries, which came as a shock to me. I've never had to present an ID for groceries, but I didn't see yesterday's rally.
I
no,
have not been ID'd for groceries.
no. What happened?
Well,
yes?
there was a rally about the fake, dishonest, disgusting news.
Oh my goodness!
Why is Australia fake?
Why is Australia? Well, it's after what I heard from that Australian rap artist, he's a rap artist, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Has he ever done a rap song about Donald Trump, our president?
Oh,
No.
I don't believe
Not
he
that
has.
I'm aware of.
I don't believe he has. He may have done one about
No,
Malcolm
well,
Turnbull.
I'd like to. If they were going to really get down to some music that means something, that's what he would be concentrating on.
Well, no,
You know,
I'm gonna
Matt,
no. I'm
I
gonna
just
disagree
wanna
with you
say
here
that,
because I'm
you've
really
heard the
excited
expression,
about
"The truth
having
will
a
make you
rapper
free."
who
You've heard that
actually has a
expression? I read that in
positive
the book.
message
Okay.
to share.
Yeah. I think it was the Bible, actually.
Well, that may be your opinion.
I don't.
Yeah, well, maybe it wasn't the Bible, but actually, I don't see why anybody would read any other book. But
Well, I
that's an
personally
expression I've heard quite a bit. The truth will make you free. And you know what? In the
I
Union
like
Leader,
reading my
our local
Talmud.
newspaper, that's statewide, they used to put next to the title, "There's nothing so powerful as the truth."
Yes.
I don't know if I don't know if they do it anymore, but that was something that Daniel Webster said when he was a U.S. congressman from New Hampshire. You've heard of Daniel Webster, right?
Of course, absolutely.
Unfortunately, too much. I
Yeah.
grew up in Plymouth.
I often,
Everything's
But
named
you know,
Daniel
the
Webster.
longer
in
I
Plymouth.
look at life, and I've been around for a long time. I'm old. I admit it. I'm 72. But I'm beginning to think
Did something really bad
that the
just
truth
happen
may not
outside?
be that beautiful. I think now that sometimes a lie can be even more beautiful than the truth.
I don't understand what this has to do with an Australian rapper who's most of his songs
he
are all
was
positive
talking
music.
about how people in Australia don't like Donald Trump.
Well, that was in response to a question. I mean, Matt asked him, "What do people in Australia think of him?" The guy's going to give. I would hope he would give us an honest answer, but that has nothing to do with his music.
Well, maybe it should though. Maybe he should have some
I
music
think-
about
I
our
think you-
president.
I think
you know,
you
there
missed-
were a couple of words between
think-
Donald Trump and
I
the
think you
Prime
missed.
Minister of Australia.
I think you missed
And
a really
I
huge
guess
point.
it didn't go that well, but that's all in the past now.
You really missed a
I'm
huge
sure we're gonna
point
patch
in
things
that
up.
you didn't actually. I would encourage you to re-listen and listen to the lyrics of the songs that were
I've always
played
had
and
trouble
some of
with
his
that.
other ones, because what
I have
he is
trouble
putting.
listening to rap
what
music,
he is
and
putting-
it looks like it's here to
Okay,
stay.
if you'll let me actually finish a sentence for once, you will actually hear a positive message being given by a rap artist that we were able to play on air without having to bleep or blop or flip any kind of a song. And I would like to see more artists providing positive messages to our youth. I don't care about having a rap artist rapping about the president. I'd rather see them rapping about positive things that can affect our youth and actually make a difference. So this guy's actually doing positive music. He's encouraging people to have self-confidence. He's encouraging people to have courage. He's encouraging people to be understanding of each other. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to let you belittle that message in any way.
I think you're taking Jeff a little too seriously. I think he was sort of
I'm
kidding.
deadly serious now.
No, he was like totally
recently,
talking over me, Mr.
maybe not
Trumpkin.
in the last week or so, but
He's
I
not a
didn't
Trumpkin.
know until Donald Trump told me that Amazon was cheating the U.S. Postal Service.
Yes.
Did you know that, Matt?
Yes. Amazon. In fact, Jeff Bezos is actually ruining America because
I thought that was Facebook and fake news.
well, actually, if I understand correctly, in fact, I looked into it, and I think President Trump would back me up on this. I believe when Amazon ships something, the U.S. Post Office and America's taxpayers actually pay Amazon instead of Amazon paying the shipping. Yes, it's a scandal.
Oh yeah, we're
And then
getting
they
ripped
charge
off. It's happening all over the world.
That's
I used to like
awful.
Amazon. I used to order things from Amazon. I'm not ashamed to admit that I was a Prime member,
Yes.
an Amazon Prime member, before they raised the price.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But now that I've learned that they're cheating the post office, I'm not going to be patronizing them anymore.
Good for you, Dr. Jeff
Yeah, but
Cassell.
what about their charity? You know, every order you make, you get a little few bucks
Terrible.
go to charity.
Terrible how the country's being ripped off and being invaded.
Hey, shout out to Heidi Hamer, who joins us in the chat room. Hey, Heidi.
Who's invading us, Dr. Cassell?
The
Well,
Anunnaki.
Mexicans, right? I mean, the Mexicans are invading us. You remember, Donald Trump
It's
won
not.
the Republican
No,
primary
it's
up
not.
here.
It's the
He won it
Anunnaki.
pretty convincingly.
Yes, he did. Absolutely. He won because New Hampshire is a drug-infested den, to use his words.
Dem?
Well,
It's a drug
we've
infested dem?
had some. We have an epidemic here, really.
Yes.
Drug addicts coming in, and the Mexicans are bringing in the drugs.
Yes. Yes, of course. Absolutely. But I have no fear because President Donald John Trump is on the case. And, by the way, people, I referred to it earlier, people made fun of him about the whole needing ID to buy groceries thing, but I think he's on to something, because I think what he really is suggesting is if we forced you to present an ID when buying groceries, undocumented immigrants wouldn't be able to buy food in the U.S. and they would stop coming here. That's what he was really trying to get
We'd
at.
starve them out of the country.
Yes.
It's a good point, and
Yes.
and this is why I pay a lot of attention to the President of the United States, because he's got a lot of really good information.
Yes.
And he didn't win this. In the general election, he didn't win New Hampshire. You know that, right?
Right. But he thinks he did, and that's all that matters.
Well,
was rigged,
if Hillary
right?
Clinton hadn't bust up a lot of illegal Mexicans
That's
up here in
right.
New Hampshire who were raping their way through the state,
Oh, God, I can't believe you said that.
President Trump would have won this state. That's my theory.
Yes. As well, he should have.
Just like they won the last two elections that went to Hillary and Obama. I mean, come on.
Well, he did say, too, the other night at the rally where he was discussing groceries and the legal requirements thereof to purchase them. He also mentioned that he's the most popular Republican ever, apparently eclipsing Reagan. He has on previous occasions talked about how he won the election in the biggest landslide in American history, despite not winning the popular vote. So it's all quite impressive. He did
It's
kind
stunning.
of, yes,
It's stunning.
yes.
I believe
but I'll tell
Armageddon
you,
has
this
arrived.
invasion of Mexicans up here in New Hampshire has really got me worried, and I mostly stay home now because I'm worried about getting raped by some Mexican.
That's a
I'm
good
72
idea. You should
and
stay home.
and I'm thinking about getting a gun to protect myself.
It is so, you've brought up something very important, Dr. Jeff Cassell. It is so pervasive. I've lived in New Hampshire a long time. This is becoming such a problem that every now and then I will wake up not entirely certain that I have not become Mexican myself.
Well, yeah, I don't.
That's how
I don't
serious.
think that's
Do you ever have
possible,
moments
Matt.
when you feel like you're
I don't
working
think you
in the
can become a
Twilight Zone?
Mexican.
I don't know.
Unless you go down to Mexico and become a Mexican citizen, then I suppose you'll be a Mexican. But what do you think about my idea that that a lie can be more beautiful than the truth?
Well, I think that I think it's
Armageddon's going to happen, and it don't matter.
it's quite the thunder.
Can you hear that? Actually, I wonder if
yeah.
the mics are actually picking that up.
Oh, I'm sure they are. No, I think it's apropos of the time because, as you know, we certainly don't live in an era of objective reality or facts. Everyone believes whatever they like, or in the case of Trump, whatever daddy tells them to believe. So I think
Trump Daddy.
I think well, I don't, but
Sounds like you need a therapist.
Milo Yiannopoulos certainly does. So no, I think lies can be beautiful because with lies you can just believe whatever you want. It's really a perfect way to live if you think about it.
I think you actually stumped him.
I think I've told you before that I actually went to college with Donald Trump. He was my classmate.
Yes.
But, I was studying
Oh, that was rather large.
philosophy. I got a degree in philosophy, but Donald Trump was a lot smarter than
You
me.
got
and he
a
went to
degree
the
in
Wharton Business
philosophy?
School.
You
And
got
I
a
was so
degree in
stupid back then in
philosophy?
1966.
Oy vey.
I couldn't figure out
Whose
what kind of
philosophy?
19-year-old would want to be a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
But Donald Trump, he's now president of the United States, and he's a front-page story every day on the news, and I've only got a Facebook page. Plus, he's married to Melania, a beautiful woman from Europe.
Yes.
I have
Who's
only
an
two
immigrant, by
goldfish,
the way.
and one of them I think is dying. He's swimming on his side. I don't think he's going to make it.
One of your fish?
Yeah, so
Oh, my goodness.
one of my goldfish.
That's
He's
Shout
swimming
out
on
to
his side.
Christian Cunard
So
and
I've got a
Edward
dying
Murphy
goldfish,
in the
and Donald
chat
Trump
room.
has Melania. So I think that makes him better than me. He's doing a lot better than I am.
I don't know how he went from Melania to a floating sideways fish.
Well, no, he didn't.
Well,
He's
it's
comparing
a
it.
rather
it's a
interesting
mosaic I'm
segue.
trying to create here.
Yeah, so you feel that Donald Trump has eclipsed you in terms of success? It sounds like is what
Well,
you're saying.
I'm listening now.
Is
This
there a
is
little
someone
green
that everybody
monster on
should be
your
listening
shoulder?
to, instead of the crap we see on TV, which is nothing but fake news. Donald Trump's a very wise man, and
Yes.
we can all learn something from him.
I learn something from him every day. Like I said, I didn't know about the groceries thing until he mentioned it. You know,
You ever wonder, has he ever gone into a grocery? In all
No.
seriousness, gone into a grocery store?
no, he was born. If there is a defense of what he was saying, it would be this: he was born rich. I'm fairly certain he personally has never bought groceries in his entire life, and that's why he doesn't know. But again, that's if there is an excuse. If there is a valid rationalization, that would be the one.
I kind of think the
there are
President of
some-
the United
There are
States
some
ought
really
to know what you
nasty
need an ID
rumors
for. I'm
about
just
Donald
saying.
Trump's behavior, and it hurts me to hear these rumors. For example, Hillary Clinton rounded up a bunch of Democrat women to complain about Donald Trump, and they said he touched their private parts.
Oh my, yes.
And you know what?
We don't want
There's
you to
absolutely
get
no evidence.
triggered or
It's a
anything
he
and
said,
talk
she
about
said
this too
thing.
much.
That's it. No proof, no pictures, no fingerprints, no witnesses, nothing. They can just say that about the President of the United States.
Yes, they can.
I mean, where do people get the idea that they can just slander the President of the United States?
Especially a
I
president.
think it started back in the 1600s.
Especially a president such as this, who is clearly beyond reproach.
He's a
1776,
lover of
maybe.
women. Trust me.
Yes.
Believe me, Donald Trump loves women as much as he loves America. He deeply respects them.
I don't want him
And
to
he gives
love
them a lot of
America the
money.
way he loves women.
And don't we all feel
No,
that?
thank you. I think I've been messed with enough.
And don't we all feel better knowing that we have a good heterosexual American president who loves women?
You had to go there.
I feel good about it.
Yes.
I feel good about it.
I do
But
too.
there's a lot of people in this country that suffer from a serious mental illness. It's called Trump derangement syndrome.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And a lot of the people in the media, for example, the failing New York Times,
Yes.
all those people,
Yes.
and the dishonest Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. Oh,
Okay,
that guy.
There are people claiming
what
that
newspaper?
Jeff Bezos is
what
the richest
newspaper
man
do you
in the
like?
world, which is a load of crap. We all know President Trump is richer than Jeff Bezos.
Well, obviously, with his billions and
Believe me.
billions. Yes, yes.
So which news source is real for you?
Well, I watch Fox News, of course.
Of course.
Doesn't everyone?
Isn't there an
I mean,
is
if you
there a
want to hear
newspaper?
real news, you got to watch Fox.
Is there a newspaper?
And if you got a phone or a computer, you can read Breitbart. But I don't know how to work those fancy phones. I'm too old for that.
Yes, all this
What about
newfangled
Alex Jones?
technology.
Alex Jones, he's
Oh.
a hero. Alex Jones is a genius and a hero.
Yes.
And those people on CNN,
And facing indictment,
fake
I think, or
news.
lawsuits.
Wolf Blitzer, fake name. Who has a name like Wolf? Have you ever heard of anybody named Wolf?
No.
Actually, yeah.
I'm pretty certain that that's a fake name. Didn't he used to be a war correspondent, so that's why he wanted Blitzer somewhere in there?
You know, actually, I think Wolf Blitzer used to be a card-carrying member of a religious organization.
Oh God, don't go there.
I forget the name of that organization, but they promote the Israeli interests.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you
I think
really
he
don't want to
was a
go there
member
with
of that.
me, jokingly or not.
But I don't watch
Let me
Wolf
say
Blitzer.
that
I
let's
watch
not
Sean
joke
Hannity
there.
because Sean Hannity doesn't hold back,
Right.
and neither does Alex Jones. They're giving Alex Jones a lot of trouble these days. I heard they're deleting his Facebook pages or his YouTube
He's being
videos.
sued by multiple people.
Yes, he is being sued.
It's a terrible thing.
Yes.
You know,
It's a
it's very
great
hard
thing.
to get the truth out there. And
Not from
because
that guy.
there's a huge conspiracy against Donald Trump in America.
Yes, the
And
world.
a
is
lot of people are involved.
conspiracy.
The FBI, the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, and that special prosecutor, you know,
Have you
investigating
even
a
been
completely
imbibing
fake
in any
story, a hoax.
substances today? Be
CNN,
it
CBS, PBS,
alcohol,
ABC, Hillary Clinton,
illicit,
Nancy Pelosi,
prescription?
Senator John McCain, Senator Flake, Dennis Kucinich,
There's a
Catholics,
senator named
Jews,
Flake?
Mexicans, Muslims, Negroes, the Energizer Bunny, and Joe Biden. They're all in on it.
Oh,
And they're trying to ruin America.
my
They are.
God.
They're ruining America. And by the way, before anyone chuckles too much at Alex Jones, I just want to say, and this is what made me a believer, I actually had been mugged recently, and I was very upset. Come to find out, it was actually a crisis actor, and that the mugging wasn't real, and then I felt so much better. And so when Alex Jones talks about this stuff, I mean, he's not just making it up. It goes on every day in this world.
I think you both have lost your ever-loving minds.
Oh, well.
No. See, that's
Hey,
that's
guess
what
what?
the Bolsheviks in this country
Guess
always
what?
said.
Guess what?
Mm.
Guess what?
All
I'm
that godless
Israel.
commie
Hey,
scum
I
in
want you to hear
America,
this. I want you to hear
they're
this
trying to
really
keep
clear. I want
the
you to hear
good,
this really clear.
God-fearing Americans
Are you ready?
down.
Are you ready? I got 3 words for you. Are you ready? I'm
Okay.
Israel High and a
didn't hear that.
proud Jew.
I see. Well, you better watch out because one day
Oh, no,
some
you better
Mexican's
watch
gonna
out,
knock
buddy.
on your door.
As you come near
and
knocking on
you're not
my
gonna
door,
like
you're
it.
going to hear a shotgun. And if you don't move before that shotgun gets loaded, well,
I didn't realize
what you get
were
is what you
armed.
get.
Is everybody armed at the radio station here in Manchester?
I think everyone is armed in
You mentioned
Manchester.
coming to our home.
We have to.
You know, I actually accidentally was watching the
And
fake
the man
news
is
as I
quite
was trying to
skilled.
find Fox on my TV, and I heard some commentator that said yesterday Donald Trump told 16 lies. It was a personal best, they said.
Oh, but see,
That's what we're facing now in
Do you
America.
think that could be a Guinness record?
Just a wanton slander of the
No.
President of the United States.
But
I don't
this
think
is.
he's caught up to Nixon yet.
But this is the great thing about President Trump is if it was a personal best, that just shows he's always trying to top himself. He's always trying to improve and excel at his job as he continues to make America great again. I think it's wonderful.
Well, you know, we're not going to be taking any crap from the Europeans
That's right.
or the Canadians.
That's right.
I mean, you know how bad the Canadians are.
Yes, yes.
What are you anyway?
A dishonest, weak, pathetic prime minister from Canada.
That guy.
He ought to go into his house, shut the door, and never come out again.
I would think that you would like him since he says, "Send me, you're poor, you're tired, you're hungry, and you're weak."
That just means he's a sucker.
Oh, I'm sorry. I took that off the Statue of Liberty, didn't I? He said that, you know,
just
immigrants,
another
people who are
socialist
looking for
Bolshevik
refuge and
trying
safety
to
could come
wreck
to
America.
Canada.
By the way, I just want to be clear. Jeff said Bolshevik, not something else. In case I don't want to get in trouble with the FCC, it was Bolshevik.
Now
I did
says
say
that
Bolshevik. Didn't
now
I
in
pronounce
the
that
chat
correctly?
room says
No.
that Wolf covered the Desert Storm.
No, you did say Bolshevik. Yes, I just want to make sure everyone knew.
Well, I mean, the communist influence is pervasive. And,
How could they miss any of the other words
we need
that
a
came
strong
flying
leader
out?
in America now during these tough times when people are taking advantage of us.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
That's all I have to say now, Mac.
All right.
I'm gonna sign off now.
All right.
I
And,
suggest medication perhaps
I'm going to
might
try
be
and watch a
you.
program that I recorded from Pennsylvania last night, the Trump rally. I'm going to watch it 4 or 5 times.
Excellent.
You gonna memorize it?
Thank you so much for the call, Dr. Cassell, and I hope to see you here in the studio again soon.
Well, it could
Really?
happen. It could happen.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Take care. Always a good time with Dr. Jeff.
Oh my God, though, he can just come up with some of the stuff that is just like, I can't believe you just said that. I haven't. I'm just gonna sit here in shock.
Yeah. Well.
I'm not gonna. I can't even repeat what he said because I find it so bad.
Oh my. Well.
When he gave his list of people
Yes.
and the words he
All
used.
these terrible people ruining America. Yes. Well.
You're gonna be walking home in the rain. You're gonna be here
Oh, my
comes
goodness.
the rain again.
I can't even remember the
Falling
list of
on
people. I
that
just
head.
remember. Well, speaking of terrible people, we have a little bit of time left. Of course, on Fridays we wrap up around 5:30 because Granite State of Mind is live at 6 p.m. here at WMNH. And
Yeah.
the great Rob Azevedo, he usually has live bands or solo artists come in and play, and they need time to set up. So we try to get out of the way a little bit early on Fridays. But speaking of terrible people, this is from ConcordMonitor.com. Top New Hampshire Senate Democrat Jeff Woodburn arrested on domestic violence charges. And we learned something apparently about this individual. He's a biter.
Yeah.
It says here, New Hampshire's top-ranking Democratic senator was arrested by Concord police yesterday on domestic violence charges, including 4 counts of simple assault, the Attorney General's office announced. The Senate Democratic leader, Jeff Woodburn, 53, of Whitefield, was charged with 4 counts of simple assault, 2 counts, of domestic violence, 2 counts of criminal mischief, and 1 count of criminal trespassing.
7
the
charges.
office said.
7 charges.
In a 2-page release, the Attorney General's office laid out a string of charges involving abusive behavior directed at an adult female victim spanning from August 2017 to June 2018. The charges allege that Woodburn struck, bit, and threw objects at the victim and forced his way through a locked door and into her residence.
By kicking
Wow.
it in.
Woodburn was processed.
Bites people.
Woodburn was processed at the Concord Police Department and released Thursday evening on $500 cash bail and a $10,000 personal recognizance. According to Senior Assistant Attorney General Jeffrey Ward, his arraignment is scheduled for 10:30 a.m. on August 20th at the Lancaster First Circuit Court District Division, the office said. Charging documents related to the arrest will be filed in that court sometime Friday, Ward said. As part of his bail conditions, Woodburn will not be permitted direct or indirect contact with the victim, Ward added. Well, I would hope not.
It sounds to me like he wasn't supposed to have any contact with her in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know.
He got charged for trespassing. He kicked in her door.
So-
I mean, how much more unwanted do you have to appear?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who bites people? That just blows my mind.
Kevin Buckley in the Facebook live chat says, is it still raining in Manchester? Nice and sunny here in
Cats
Warner.
It's cats and dogs raining here in Manchester.
Well, while we
Quite
had
literally.
while we had Dr. Cassell on the line, it was some very, very loud thunderclaps. I was concerned that there were explosions going on outside.
Actually, at one point, I swear we could hear people yelling, and it sounded like something got hit
Yeah.
with lightning.
Hello to NASCAR Nicey, who also joins us in the Facebook live chat, as well as Ed Murphy, who says you can hear the thunder. It's pretty ominous.
Wow.
That
yeah.
was very ominous. Ominous. Ominous is a good word for it.
Well, they actually have a tornado warning, or they had a tornado warning.
I think
it
that's over.
expired now for part of New Hampshire. I think it was down near the Keene area. But, you know, it's New Hampshire, and you're listening to tornado warnings.
Yes.
That's kind of freaky.
Let's see. The arrest set off shockwaves among members of both parties, prompting immediate calls for Woodburn's resignation. In a statement sent out 16 minutes ahead of the Attorney General's announcement, Democratic Party Chairman Ray Buckley called on the ranking Democratic senator to resign immediately. So here's Buckley's statement. The New Hampshire Democratic Party stands firm in our belief that any form of sexual harassment, sexual assault, or domestic violence is completely unacceptable behavior for anyone, let alone our public officials, who should all be held to a higher standard. We take these accusations against Senator Jeff Woodburn very seriously and stand with his accuser and support her during this unimaginably painful time. We are asking Senator Woodburn to resign from office immediately. Buckley declined to comment further and did not make himself available to reporters at a Democratic candidate forum in the 1st Congressional District race on Thursday evening. Governor Chris Sununu echoed the call to resign. Sununu said, quote, "This morally reprehensible, violent behavior has no place in public service or anywhere else. Senator Woodburn must resign immediately," unquote. So there's more to this, of course. I mean, it's easy to find this story in the media. I got this from ConcordMonitor.com, but it's everywhere. Obviously,
yeah, and if he happens to have any particular ailments, those biting charges could be elevated to a felony level. Because if you willfully bite someone and you have something like hepatitis or anything of that nature that could be communicable, you could actually be charged with a felony.
Right. Well, it makes sense.
That's just sick, and it's sick that he hasn't resigned yet. I mean, like,
I'm sure he will. I mean, he's going to have to. There's no coming back from this.
oh heck no.
Yeah.
And there's no excuse in the world for biting somebody twice.
Yeah.
After you kick their door in, after you trespassed onto their property that you don't even live at.
Right.
You know, it's just, he has nothing, absolutely nothing to grasp onto. I guess we could say that the Democratic Party at least did not hesitate to immediately respond by requesting his resignation instead of trying to downplay it or trying to keep him in the seat of power that he's in. He's actually the highest ranking Democrat in the state.
Well, Buckley did call for his resignation, so I'm not sure what you mean.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Oh.
That he immediately called for that,
right,
I think is a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
In the sense of the Democratic Party, that they didn't drag their feet, that they didn't try and make excuses.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty severe. I mean, they had no choice, but yeah.
Well, we've seen worse, and we've seen a lot of excuses.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we got to wrap up. Of course, like I said, it's Friday, so we wrap up around 5:30. But thank you to everybody in the Facebook live chat, and thank you again to Mugzy, of course. I really enjoyed my conversation with him that was from last night that we played for you today. And if you missed any part of that or any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org. And we're going to finish up with one more track from Mugzy. This is called My Journey. And this is actually my favorite of the three that we have featured on the show today. But so let's do this to
I like all of
to
them.
play us out. Oh, I do too. But this is my favorite. And so that's it for now. And we'll talk at y'all next week on Matt Connarton Unleashed in the afternoon.
When I started to rap and I was on this journey, every day I feel like I was learning. You made me feel like my future was burning, but I'm here right now, yeah, I'm learning. When I started to rap and I was on this journey, every day I feel like I was learning. You made me feel like my future was burning.